I'm sorry. Oh, we have a point of order. The honourable member for Timmins James Bay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You'd asked the former Speaker numerous times to stay to the issue at hand, and I find it very deplorable on a Thursday morning when we're trying to get to important issues that he continued, even to the end, to turn this into a circus. And I ask you to reflect on that and ask him to reflect on his actions. Thank you.
Thank you. I will reflect on it, and I'm sure the honourable member will as well.
I think it was very telling that when Conservatives propose meaningful measures to improve the environment, Liberals get pretty squirmy.
Mr. Scheer, seconded by Mr. Reyes, moves for leave to introduce a bill entitled An Act to Amend the Fisheries Act, Prohibition, Deposit in Raw Sewage. The motion is deemed adopted. The member may give a succinct explanation. The honourable member for Regina Capel.
Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And this bill will make it illegal to dump untreated wastewater into any body of water that contains fish habitat. This bill will remove the power for the federal minister to grant permits to municipalities to dump raw sewage into waterways, like when the former environment minister gave permission to Montreal to dump 8 billion litres of raw sewage into the St. Lawrence River. When it comes to the environment, this prime minister acts completely phony. He talks a good game, but when the city of Montreal asked to be allowed to dump their raw sewage into one of Canada's most important waterways, he told them to go ahead. This bill will remove the power of federal ministers to grant permission to municipalities to damage vital fish habitats. This Liberal government has a terrible record on the environment. They have not planted a single tree out of their promised $2 billion. Their carbon tax is neither revenue neutral.
On a point of order, Mr.
Nor
Speaker.
Is it lowering emissions. In fact,
Speaker, on a point of order.
We have a point of order. The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary to the Government House Leader, I believe.
Yes, Mr. Speaker, the member knows, and you just indicated that when a member introduces a bill, they're supposed to give a brief description of the bill, not provide a political commentary, which might not necessarily be accurate.
Okay. I want to thank. I'll let the honourable member for Regina Capel continue, but I will also remind him that it is succinct and it is not a time for debate. Please proceed.
This is a very succinct explanation, Mr. Speaker, and as you know, it's often these private members' bills are often accompanied with the rationale. In fact, usually members talk about the need for their bill, and of course, the need for the bill is to take meaningful action on the environment. I am almost finished my remarks, Mr. Speaker, and I know we've always given the Parliamentary Secretary, the Government House Leader, great latitude when he seeks the floor in the House, and I promise him it won't be but a few more moments.
Please proceed. I won't interrupt the discourse that's going on, but I'll let him continue very succinctly.
Thank you very much, Mr. As I was saying, this Liberal government has a terrible record on the environment. They have not planted a single tree out of their promised $2 billion. Their carbon tax is neither revenue neutral nor is it lowering emissions.
Mr. Speaker,
and they have damaged our lakes, rivers.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to rise on a point of order again. The honourable member. I'm sorry, I'm going to have to interrupt.
Point of order.
We have a number of points of order coming in. The honourable member for, I believe it's Winnipeg North, who was has the first point of order, and the other one I'm not sure, but go ahead.
I believe that was the former leader of the Green Party for the second one, Mr. Speaker. I just wanted to reinforce, you just made a ruling, and we all know that providing a commentary or a political, it's not a debate. The member should be just giving a brief description of the bill. And the member knows full well that that's the case, and I would ask him to respect the rule.
Yeah.
Okay.
I am, of course, speaking to the bill. The irony here is that the Parliamentary Secretary...
If the honourable member for Regina Capel can hang on, we have two more points of orders that that have come up with what he's had to say. The first one is to the honourable member for Saanich Golf-Highlands, and then we'll move on to the second one.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise with some trepidation to support the point of order just made by the honourable member for Winnipeg, and the former leader of the official opposition knows full well that what he is doing here as a former speaker, he must know this is a violation of our rules. I, by the way, agree with him entirely about the terrible record of the current Liberal government. It's not as bad as the former Conservative government, but introducing a private member's bill is not the place to deliver a partisan speech.
Okay, I believe we slipped into the same thing we're talking about, but the honourable member, l'honorable député de Louis-Saint-Laurent.
Oui, merci beaucoup.
The honourable member for Louis-Saint-Laurent. Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I'd like to go back to the point of order raised by the member opposite.
Mr. Speaker, and it's yourself, because obviously those people don't accept what you are tabling right now. They disagree. Well, this is what democracy is all about. We will have a debate in Parliament, but if the member who has tabled the bill has something to say, you're the one to judge if it's too much, not the others. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
I want to thank the honourable member. And usually what happens, though, is it's on a point of order that it gets brought back, and then it's up to the Speaker to decide. And I want to thank the honourable members for bringing that up. I'll let the honourable member for Regina Capel continue, but I will remind him that anything more than just what is about the bill itself or the motion itself, it really borders on debate, and that's not the time for debate right now. The honourable member for Regina Capel.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I will absolutely respect the guidance there, and out of the interest of allowing the House to proceed to orders of the day, I will just briefly touch upon the aspect of this bill that allows municipalities some time to upgrade their systems. The coming into force component of this bill is designed to allow municipalities across the country who may yet not have the capacity to fully treat the water that they emit into waterways to do so in due course. And so I thank you, Mr. Speaker. I thank the indulgence of members, and I think it is very telling that when Conservatives propose meaningful measures to improve the environment, Liberals get pretty squirmy.
I'm sorry. Oh, we have a point of order. The honourable member for Timmins James Bay.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. You'd asked the former Speaker numerous times to stay to the issue at hand, and I find it very deplorable on a Thursday morning when we're trying to get to important issues that he continued even to the end to turn this into a circus. And I ask you to reflect on that and ask him to reflect on his actions. Thank you.
Thank you. I will reflect on it, and I'm sure the honourable member will as well. Thank you for that intervention.